Hello, thank you for checking out A1 Math, and today we're looking at using the elimination method to solve a system of linear equations, similar to a previous video, but today we're looking at word problems. So remember, our steps in solving a system of linear equations by elimination method is to add or subtract the equation to eliminate one variable, solve the resulting equation for the other variable, substitute the value for the known variable into one of the original equations, then solve for the other variable. So let's take a look at an example. Okay. So in this word problem, we have a video game rental here. It says the video game and movie rental kiosk charges $2 for each video game rented and $1 for each movie rented. One day last week, a total of 114 video games and movies were rented for a total of $177. The system of equations represents this situation where X represents the number of video games rented and Y represents the number of movies rented. Find the number of video games and movies that were rented. All right, so in this particular scenario, they went ahead and gave you the two equations for your system of equations here. But I think it's important to understand how they came up with that. So you got two totals here. You got the total of video games and movies rented, and the total of how much money was made. So if the video games are X and the movies is Y, you add those total, you get 114. You don't know how many is X and how many is Y, but you know if you add them together, it'll be 114 total rented. Now, as far as the money made, is different. It's $2 for each video game and $1 for each movie. So they're doing 2 times X plus 1 times Y, which is for your movie rentals. And that's going to equal $117. So both of these should be true equations. So what we're going to do is either add or subtract, solve for the resulting variable, then substitute it into one of the two original equations, and then solve for the other equation. And that'll tell us the video games and the movies rented. So let's take a look. So since both of these are, the number that we have is the same as the Y. It's the coefficient here. And since they're both positive, we need to make that negative. So what we're going to do first is multiply by -1 all the way across here. Okay? And once we do that, we'll have -2x minus y is equal to 117. I'm sorry, 177. In fact, let me write that down here. So I'm going to have x plus y is equal to 114, and -2x minus y is equal to 177. All right, now what I'm going to do is go ahead and add these together so that I can eliminate one of my variables. So that's going to get me a -x plus 0 is equal to -63. Then I divide by -1, and then x is equal to 63. So that means there's 63 video games rented. And now all I have to do is figure out how many movies was rented. So I'm going to take this 63 and plug it into the original equation. I'm going to plug it into this one. That makes it extremely easy. So I got x plus y is equal to 114. All right, now I'm going to plug in the 63 in for my x. And then once I subtract 63 on both sides, y is going to equal 51. So my x and y, my ordered pair would be 63 and 51. And in real world terms, there's 63 video games rented and 51 movies. So that's a real world example of how to use system of equations to find something out. So we got 63 video games and 51 movies rented. So let's take a look at another example. Okay, so in this example, it says the perimeter of a rectangle picture frame is 62 inches. The difference of the length of the frame and twice its width is 1. The difference of the length of the frame and twice its width is 1. The system of equations is 2L plus 2W equals 62, and L minus 2W equal 1 represents this situation. Well, L represents the length in inches, and W represents the width in inches. It wants to know what's the length and the width of the frame. All right, so you're dealing with two things here. So you're dealing with the fact you have the perimeter, which is 62 inches. And the formula for perimeter is your length times 2 or your width times 2. Okay? And those two is going to add up to equal 62. Then they also tell you some more information where the difference of the length, L minus for difference, of the frame is twice the width, 2 times W, is equal to 1. So now we have two equations, and what we're going to do is go ahead and write that out and solve. So I'm going to write this out over here, 2L cursive L here, plus 2W is equal to 62. And I have L minus 2W is equal to 1. And it works out well. We already have our width have the same coefficient, 2, and they're already opposites here. One's positive, one's negative. So now all we have to do is just add. So that's going to get me 3L plus 0 is equal to 63. And when I divide by 3, L is equal to 21. So now we know the length of the picture frame is 21 inches. And we're going to take that and plug that into the original equation. And you can plug it in either one you want. I'm just going to plug it in the first one here. So it's going to be 2 times the length, which is 21, plus 2W is equal to 62. All right, now that's going to give me 42 plus 2W is equal to 62. Subtract 42 on both sides. Divide by 2. And W is equal to 10. So we have our length, which is 21, and our width, which is 10. So that's a real-world example of how to use system of equations to solve problems here. I want to thank you for checking out A1 Math, and have a nice day.